The control room should be off to the right. I hope we're doing the right thing.
Yeah, let's hope. Because I don't feel particularly great about either choice. I know you said it was to the right, but let's just look around a bit. Grenade launcher, eh? Unlock office door. From Space's Choice. Ms. Braden, this letter serves as an informal notification of our company's displeasure toward your management of the Emerald Vale Geothermal plant for reasons related to exceeding your staff budget in your latest quarterly report. Please select 5 subordinates to be dismissed immediately. Additionally, please contact our office to schedule your official reprimand at your earliest convenience. Failure to schedule your official reprimand will result in an official reprimand. The Space's Choice family would like to collectively remind you that working for Space's Choice is not a right, but a privilege. Emerald Vale Geothermal Plant. From J. Braden. To the esteemed members of the Emerald Vale Development and Oversight Committee, I hope this letter finds you wealthy. After due consideration of your last letter, I have identified and terminated no fewer than 5 subordinates who were unable to provide sufficient justification for their ongoing employment. I would like to remind the Oversight Committee that while most of Emerald Vale has failed to meet its production and output quotas, particularly our agriculture and fishing, canning departments, neither of which are anywhere close to profitable, the Emerald Vale Geothermal plant remains committed to providing cheap, cost-efficient power to the entire region. Regards, Juno Braden, Manager. From Space's Choice. Ms. Braden, we have investigated the claims made against the profitability of the Greater Emerald Vale region. Our officers agree with you. Agriculture and fishing, canning have experienced a steady decline, while the Emerald Vale geothermal plant remains somewhat profitable. Our officers are currently investigating ways to implement additional cost-saving measures, which will ultimately lead to a leaner, more streamlined, more efficient geothermal power plant. Please be informed that the Space's Choice Development and Oversight Office has taken a significant insurance policy against the Emerald Vale geothermal plant. The office would like to assure you that this insurance policy is a standard procedure. Do not attempt to interpret, understand, or otherwise extrapolate meaning from this decision. As a special courtesy, we have deployed a proprietary team of engineering specialists to the Emerald Vale geothermal plant. This team of specialists has been instructed to refit and upgrade the plant's population of auto-mechanicals, free of charge. Thank you for your cooperation. Taste the freedom with Space's Choice. Now with extra added artificial ingredients at no extra cost. Space's Choice is a wholly owned subsidiary of Universal Defense Logistics. Please don't hate me, Parvati. Okay, here we go. Operating at 22% efficiency. Structural damage detected. Please notify your designated supervisor. Redirect power. Safety failures detected. High likelihood of moderate to severe structural damage. Warning. Redirecting power is an irreversible procedure. Error. Power redirection function has failed. Manual override required. Please activate all 3 electrical track switches. They're going to be down those steps, aren't they?
Three switches. That'll be easy enough.
Warning. This facility is in a state of lockdown. Authorization passcode required. Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Personal log 79. Geothermal Security Office, Personal Logs, S. Tanaka, Chief of Security. Chester Higgins again, that hullhead. Found him fiddling around with one of the mechanicals, so I had to write him up for tampering with company property. Just in case I'm reading this a couple days from now and feeling bad for what I've done, let me just remind myself that I've warned him before. He's always been a little crooked in the skull. He was working on some logic module. I confiscated it. Should be in my lockaway room for the foreseeable future. Personal log 87. Doesn't sit right with me. Company's been replacing our guards with auto mechanicals. At this rate, I'm gonna end up a chief of security with no staff. Just a small army of mechanicals knocking about, guns pointed every which way. Company tells us they're safe. Programmed to treat us humans like their own. People are liable to break down, but an auto-mechanical never will. I don't know. Doesn't sit right with me, but the company's never been wrong before, I suppose. Personal log 98. Worst has happened. Mechanical's gone crazy. Locked myself down here. Just trying to gather my courage. Gonna make a mad dash for the control room. Might be able to shut things down. Will delete this entry if I ever return. Automated message 6. Greetings, Security Chief S. Tanaka. This is an automated message initiated by Space's Choice Worker Safety Contingency Protocols. A security lockdown has been initiated. This is not a test. Your behavior during this lockdown will be reviewed during your quarterly audit. Anxiety is a common side effect of life-threatening situations engendered by security lockdowns. Fight back against anxiety with an ice-cold bottle of 0G Brew. 0G Brew, an ale that's good for what ails you. Yeah, pretty sure they're dead.
Halt, sir.
Here they come! Can't get past that armor!
Dude, don't push me.
That's the last of them! Okay, keep it quiet. two more. What'll happen to Miss McDevitt's folk if we send power to the Vale?
I don't know.
Yeah, huh?
Thomas seemed very fond of you.
He's just interested in fixing stuff. He always used to follow me around, asking me to explain what I was doing. Like a puppy, kinda.
Are you sure? He nearly fell over when he saw you.
He never told me a word to that effect. And since he didn't, I didn't have to say nothing about feeling different. And nothing had to get weird. If he wants to learn about engineering, we should help him get those data pads he wants. I'd like to do that for him.
You mentioned something earlier that I wanted to ask you about.
In the bar? When I asked if you were a drinker?
You sounded worried.
Sorry. I know, it's none of my business.
I don't make a habit of imbibing.
It's not like I think it a failing, mind. It's just I live right across the road. Most nights I watch folks out my window. When they come in here, they might be happy or sad. Mostly they're tired. When they leave, they're mad at themselves. Or they stumble into the alley and I listen to their hearts breaking.
You're very sensitive, aren't you?
Am I? Well, it's just normal to me. Why isn't everybody else, I wonder?
Why aren't you allowed in Moreau's store anymore?
There was a kind of a thing with a vending machine when I was 12.
When you were 12, that must have been forever ago.
Sure, but folks got long memories around here. I've always been good with my hands, right? So I saw a lock on the machine and thought, oh, this must be how they refill it. But I had to know. So I did my thing, and next thing I know, there's a couple hundred bottles of 0G rolling out the front door and into the road.
Yeah, that's pretty funny to be honest.
It's not funny. Right about then, a bunch of loaders came rolling in the gate, fresh off the salt tuna ships. And Mr. Thompson was up on the porch making a speech about how everyone would have to volunteer a third shift to get it all canned. Anyhow, you ever seen an auto loader run over a bottle of 0G?
I haven't. Go on.
Exploded all over Mr. Thompson. One bottle after another as the loaders went by. I was just shy of working age, so Dad had to pay all the damages. Moreau's still angry at me. I can laugh about it now, but I just about puked up my guts in terror in the moment. That's the one time I ever made Mr. Thompson look a fool.
12 is just shy of working age. Is that why he seems to hate you so much? Repair log 12. Corporate just sent a team of technicians to conduct a complete refit of all our mechanicals. Every sentry and drone. It's not my place to say so, but doesn't this run contrary to the Space's Choice mission of being as cheap as possible? Just in case I'm audited, I would like to formally express how grateful I am to be a part of the Space's Choice family. Space's Choice is the leading brand in affordable sundry across Halcyon. It's not the best choice, it's the Space's Choice. C. Higgins. Repair log 20. Just finished a routine maintenance on our mechanical sentries. I found some strange modifications to their logic modules. I haven't had time to run a diagnostic, so I don't know what's been modified. All I know is that these modifications were introduced in our recent refit. Company went through the trouble of refitting every single mechanical in the plant not long ago. Guessing this was the work of those visiting technicians. I filed a report, but my supervisor told me not to worry about it, said the company knew what it was doing, ordered me to forget about any alleged modifications to the logic modules. Decided to do a bit of sleuthing by my own self. Got my hands on a logic module. Time to do a little experimentation. C. Higgins. Right, so that's the guy the security officer wrote about. I missed a door down there, didn't I?
Phantom! Go away, Phantom!
Hello?
No, 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 just leave me alone! No, 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 just leave me alone!
Is that you, Higgins?
You're not real! You're not real! Get away!
Where is he?
You're not real! You're not real! No, 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 just leave me alone! Get away! You're not real! You're not real! Get away from me, Phantom! Shoot! Scram!
Calm down. I'm not trying to hurt you.
You can talk? The Phantom's never talked before. I knew I shouldn't have eaten that sprat raw. See? See, Higgins? This is why you must always boil your sprats before ingesting.
Slow down and tell me what's going on.
Clearly I mistook you for one of the phantoms of my imagination, which terrorized me on occasion. Chester D. Higgins. The D stands for definitely not insane. I use it as a reminder.
How long have you been down here?
Hard to say. By my reckoning, Higgins has been here somewhere between 2 weeks and forever. My recollection's a touch fuzzy these days.
Aha, and you were an engineer or something, right?
Oh, Higgins has been many things over the years. Sprat Wrangler, Saltuna Critic, Aetherwave Personality, Chairman of the Board, Galactic Defender, Sisty Pig Tycoon. I've come a long way for someone who started off as a simple engineer right here in this plant.
In the logs it seemed like the robots went crazy after an upgrade, is that about right?
Mechanicals lost their bolts. Opened fire on anything that moved. It was pandemonium.
And you weren't killed?
I was on cleaning duty at the time. My old boss had me scrubbing pipes when the killing started. So, as usual, I missed out.
You mentioned being an engineer?
I specialized in automechanicals, drones, sentries. Repaired them, maintained, upgraded. Did it all from my old workroom just over in the next section.
If you worked on these mechanicals, you must know a way to stop them.
Look, I don't want to fall into any trouble with the mechanicals. If they wise up to our plans, they will come for us. With prodding irons.
I can deal with mechanicals. I made it this far, didn't I?
You know, you remind me of myself back when I was an intergalactic adventurer. I discovered a flaw. Their hostility levels were hardwired to maximum. There's no changing that, but you could rewrite their targeting protocol so they attack each other instead.
Mechanicals follow the behavior of the logic module. Space's Choice tampered with it in the upgrade.
Yes, that's exactly it. I see you're also versed in the noble art of mechanical engineering. There's a behavior control terminal in the other room. It should have options to change how the mechanicals act, including whom they shoot at. Oh, that reminds me. You'll need my passcode to access the behavior control terminal. Here, let me just write it down for you.
Okay, I wanted to ask you something else.
The tail. Definitely start with the tail. If you're feeling adventurous, the ears are a particular delicacy.
How have you been surviving all this time?
Jimmy'd opened the vending machines. That lasted a good couple of months. Eventually, I had to resort to more unconventional means of filling my insides.
Months? So you ate sprats?
Braised. Boiled, charred, skewered. Sprats are good eating, friend. Chock full of brain food.
I mean, they're putting sprats in the saltuna cans, so I imagine the whole town is eating them as well.
Mind the steam. You're liable to get scalded.
All right.
Here they come!
Oh geez, I forgot about you guys.
You're hurt! That's the last of them!
During your adventures, things may happen to your character that can trigger a floor offer. Taking the floor is optional, but doing so provides you with a perk. The choice is yours. Plasma weakness. Getting burned too many times has made you susceptible to plasma damage. Plasma damage received plus 25%. Reward, 1 perk point. No, I don't think so. I need to be more careful. I just strolled in here without a care, right into these robots.
Where'd to go? If we send the power to Miss McDevitt, what happens to the veil?
I don't know that either.
Yeah, huh?
I noticed you mention your dad a lot, but never your mother.
That's on account of how I never met her.
How's that possible?
She was in another division of the Spacer's Choice family. She worked in the Vale a few months, sorting the cannery computers. Her contract said any kids she had, expected or not, belonged to her office from the time of conception. So when I was born, I got sent here.
That's inhuman.
It's sensible. Dad just fixed machines. She did some kind of crazy math, high-level stuff. Better to raise me on his time than hers.
Halt.
Bro? Yeah, this is the trouble with no crosshair. Doesn't help that it isn't in the center of the screen. It's significantly below the center. It's so big though I don't want it on my screen all the time.
Here we go! That's the last of them! Last. I'm not sure what the right is. Alls I know is the decision's final.
Same. But where is this room with the terminal to stop the robots? Shut off steam release valves. That's all great, but I wanted to know exactly where I can find this terminal. Oh, sneaky datapad. Nice, that's all 3 of them now. Oh, I haven't been in here. Modify behavior. Behavior mode, guard mode, targets intruders, select new mode. Auto mechanicals in this facility have been mandated to remain in guard mode. Any attempt to alter this setting is punishable by company law. Your infraction has been noted in your permanent record. See Higgins. Please see your supervisor to schedule a reprimand. Auto mechanicals in this facility have been mandated to target intruders. Any attempt to alter this setting is punishable by company law. Define intruders. All persons or entities not identified as property of Space's choice. Not identified as property? Wow, the robots had more compassion than the company in the end. Define intruders as Space's choice auto mechanicals. Definition of intruders successfully updated. Modified definitions successfully forwarded to security. Please allow some time to process and remove all recently defined intruders. Does that mean Higgins as well? Kind of defeats the purpose of doing this. Well, let's go talk to him anyway.
What's eating you?
I have something to tell you.
The tail. Definitely start with the tail. If you're feeling adventurous, the ears are a particular delicacy. Forgot what you were gonna say? Me too.
Okay, you don't want to know. I probably have to leave and come back after a while they reconfigure themselves. Well, I guess it's time.
Once we do this, there's no going back. Excuse me, ma'am. Look, I know you want your power regulator and all, but I just gotta ask you, do you understand what you're about to do?
I mean, not really. I wouldn't mind hearing your opinion.
I don't think you should cut off Edgewater's power. I think it would be cruel. I'm sorry. That just sort of came out all at once. Edgewater's hurting. We've been losing workers year after year, and corporate hardly ever sends replacements. There's barely enough Saltuna to fill our bellies anymore. But the town's got some good people in it. Decent, hard-working folk just living their lives the only way they know how. They don't deserve to be punished.
I know, but can't they join the deserters afterwards? Maybe? I don't know. The deserters are a community. I can't just destroy what they built.
Miss McDevitt's built something beautiful. Somehow she's talked the ground into giving life again. It's plain to see she's made the Vale a better place. Fed the hungry, tended the sick. Gave a home to those that had none. But Miss McDevitt delights in Edgewater's suffering. She wants to hurt the town. Do you really want to be party to that kind of hatred?
No. I don't. Reed tells me Edgewater's going to die without workers and power.
That sure sounds like Mr. Thompson. If he was standing here, I imagine he'd remind us of how we're all one big, happy Spacer's Choice family. In Mr. Thompson's eyes, those deserters are still part of the Spacer's Choice family. The family must work together in order to survive. I hate to say it, but I think Mr. Thompson's got a point. Unless those deserters come back, Edgewater's as good as dead. Cutting off their power might be the only way.
I see your point.
Sorry, I didn't mean to babble on like that. I felt like I had to say something.
Yeah, I'm glad you did. I like hearing from you.
Really? I mean, wow. Thanks. No one's ever told me those words in that order.
Yeah. I can't do it. I need to speak with everyone again. Wow, 17 armor each.
Any luck finding one of those manuals?
Yep. In fact, I found two.
No kidding! Really? Well, which one?
Here's part 2. I found it in the cannery.
Ain't that just ironical? If I'd worked a little longer back at the cannery, I might have found this myself. 2 whole data pads? Be still my beating heart. Oh, almost forgot your payment.
Hold on, I've got more for you.
Well, don't keep me in suspense.
The elusive part 3, someone stashed it away inside the old geothermal plant.
The geothermal plant? Now that is just incredible! You really went exploring down there? Adelaide always told us it was swarming with hostile mechanicals. That's a complete set! All 3 parts! I'm gonna be the greatest engineer Halcyon's ever seen! Aside from you, Ms. Parvati, I swear, I'll do you proud.
I'm glad we could help, Thomas.
I've been saving something for you. Just a little contraption I found. Should fit right into your outfit.
Awesome. Well, good luck, Thomas. Your companion has leveled up and can be granted a new perk. Go to the companion page in your ledger and select the perk button to see the available perks. I have a bunch of points to spend on myself as well. You have unlocked a dialogue combat skill. When attacking the correct type of target, they are automatically debilitated. Okay, but what kind of target? I'll go with plus 50% base health as my perk. This companion ledger shows you everything you need to know about your companions. You can see the skills, stats, status effects, and gear. To change your companion's gear, first select the item you want to swap out, then choose a compatible item to replace it with. You can also change how they behave in combat by selecting their preferred weapon, follow distance, and aggressiveness. You can up my engineering skill, lower your generated threat, increase your threat generated, or increase your health. I'll have you increase my engineering by 10. I'm gonna give you the big tanky armor as well. I'm not sure it really suits your character, but hey, I want you safe. I can get into here now as well, finally. It'll cost me 3 mag picks, but I do actually have some armor that could reduce it, right? So just this helmet, plus 5 lockpick. And now it only costs me 2, cool. Now is this Zoe's room finally?
Nicely done.
Did she see me do that? Oh, for the love of...